right, guys, so I am here with Axton. I'll flip you around where you can see him in just a second. We are hanging out in the hammock, and we are going to do his part of the Q&A video. We are just, sorry, there was my hand, trying to get settled into the hammock here. Do you need to scoot over a little more this way? Scoot your bottom. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to flip you around where you can see Axton, and then I'm going to ask him some of the questions that you guys want to know about Mr. Axton. Hi, Axton.
Hi.
So people have submitted some questions for you to answer. Are you good answering questions?
No.
No? Whatever, you love it. All right, so the first question is, how old are you?
8.
8 years old, and what grade are you going into?
3rd.
3rd grade. And do
I'm
you...
about to be 9.
Yeah, he's about to be 9 in September. So what is your favorite subject at school? What do you
Math.
like best? Math.
Math.
He does. He loves math. He's a math whiz. You need to push your glasses up a little bit. There you go. All right. So what's your least favorite subject? What do you not like at school? Do you have a subject that you don't like?
Science.
You like science?
Well, kind of, but I don't really like it. because you have to write things.
You have to write things?
I don't really know how to spell things.
Yeah, you're learning how to spell more things, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that is a little bit about his school. Do you like your school?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you like the lunches that they make in the lunchroom, or do you like to take lunch from home?
Lunch from home.
Yeah, he likes to eat lunch from home. Mom packs good lunches, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, the next question for you is, what is your favorite sport?
Ooh.
Do you have a favorite sport that you like to watch?
I kind of have like 3 of them.
Like 3? Okay, what are your favorite sports?
That would be football, baseball, and soccer.
And soccer. So do you have a favorite football team?
Yes, the Chiefs.
The Chiefs. And what about baseball? Do you have a favorite baseball team?
Texas Rangers.
Texas Rangers. And
Oh,
then
they win.
what about soccer? You don't really watch soccer. You just like to play it. Do you have a favorite soccer team?
I don't know what's Leonardo's team, but I do like Leonardo's team.
Okay. So I guess the next question for you would be, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you want to go? Because we like to travel, right? So where would you want to go if you could go anywhere in the world?
New York
New
City.
York? Okay.
New York City.
And go see Times Square?
Yeah.
And you want to go to the big McDonald's?
Yes.
Yes. He likes McDonald's, don't you? Okay, next question. What is your favorite food?
Pizza.
Pizza?
And hamburgers and hot dogs.
Oh, yeah. You're a
And
typical
french
kid.
fries and chips.
And chips. He's a chip eater. All right. So the next question is, what is your favorite food that Mommy makes? What's your favorite food that I cook?
I think I should do pizza.
My homemade pizzas?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty
Or
good.
French bread pizza.
Oh, French bread pizza. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had that last night, didn't
Yeah.
we? Yeah.
I love that.
You love it. Okay, so is there anything that I cook that you don't like? Are there any foods that I make that you're like, oh, not this again?
Nothing.
Nothing? All right. Good deal. So my next question for you would be, do you think I feed you enough food? Do you have enough food to eat?
No.
No? What do you need more of?
I need more food.
You need more food.
I love food.
You love food. So Axton is going through a growth spurt right now, so he is starting to eat a lot more food, right? And I let you, don't I? I don't ever tell you can't eat more. So there are times where he might have used to eating like 2 tacos and now he eats 4 tacos. Or he might have used to have like 2 slices of pizza and now he has 3 or 4 slices of pizza. But that's okay, right? I'm a growing boy.
I just love food.
You do love food.
Yeah.
So do you like making YouTube videos with Mom?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun, huh?
Super fun. Never gonna quit.
Never gonna quit?
Nope.
Cool. All right, well, I think that's all the questions we had for Mr. Axton. But we had a few questions about Amber. And Amber doesn't like to be on video, so you want to help me answer the questions about Amber?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so how old is your sister?
15.
15.
She turned 15.
And she is a sophomore in high school.
Yep.
Yep. And what instrument does she play?
I don't know.
So Amber actually plays several different instruments. In marching band, she plays clarinet and bass clarinet. She can play bass guitar, but she has taken a step away from jazz band this year, and that's okay. She can also play keyboard. She has started picking up saxophone, and now she wants to pick up the trumpet. That's a lot of instruments, isn't it, Axton? I forgot to ask you, what instrument do you play?
The drums.
The drums. He's going to be in drumline one day. Very exciting. So, what do you think your sister's favorite subject is?
Math.
Math? I think it would probably be science. She would answer science. Her least favorite subject would
She
be
was.
English. She does not like English. Right, Axton?
Yeah.
She doesn't like the whole reading and writing and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But she is 15. She has her driver's permit. She just got it this week. So where is she at today?
At her school.
She's at the high school practicing some driving with Daddy. So we didn't have a whole lot of questions about Amber other than why doesn't she like to be in videos. She just doesn't. She's
Yeah.
not like a kid that wants to do that, and that's okay. I've told her if she ever changes her mind, she's welcome to come be in videos. She's actually thought about starting a YouTube channel with her dad, doing car stuff, but they haven't done anything with that as of right now. So anyways, that is it about Axton and Amber. That, I think, wraps up all the questions that you guys had for them. So I'm going to let Axton go so he can go play. And I am going to turn you back around and answer the questions you had for me. All right, everybody, I'm here outside. Got out of the hammock situation with Axton. That was a little crazy trying to record in there. But I was going to answer a few questions you had for me. And then I'll see if I can talk my husband into being on camera later today to wrap up the section about us. We'll see. If not, I'll come back and I'll do it on my own. So the questions you had for me, I am a May Day baby. I am born on May 1st of 1981, which makes me the ripe young age of 42 years old. I refuse to believe that I am getting older, but I am, and my body is definitely feeling it. We have been married for almost 16 years. Our anniversary is in August. And so I'm hoping that Jason will come in the video later and we can go over a few questions that you kind of have for the both of us. We'll see. So the first thing I'll get into is budgeting. That was a big one, is how do we budget in our household? I pretty much do the budgeting in our household. My husband is really good about telling me what he needs so we can add it. We have what we call the priority board. And so we add things to the priority board, and the priorities can shift. It just depends what comes up on the priority board. And those are the things that we try to work into our budget on a month-to-month basis based on the need level of those items. But how we budget in our household, we worked this out together. We took... Here's how much money we make. So we are both salary employees, and so we both make a certain amount of money. There's no overtime coming in. There's no cut hours. This is how much money is coming in. And so we take that, and then we have a bills list. Okay, here are all the bills that we have. Most of our bills are set up to bill to our credit card on a month-to-month basis. We earn points that way through Southwest, which we use for free flights when we take our family on cruises. So we just have everything going straight there. Then every month we pay that off. As soon as the bill hits and the points hit our account, we pay the bill off. However, there are a few things, exceptions to that: mortgage, car payments, and we have a mattress payment, which I think we're going to pay that off pretty soon. But that's because we needed a new mattress and we got it interest-free permanently. So that payment just comes out of our bank account every month. And we love our new mattress, don't get me wrong. So we have it set up. Here's the bills that are hitting the Southwest card. Here's the bills that are hitting the bank. And then we know exactly how much we're going to have left over. Now, I say exactly. Of course, there's a couple of bills that are going to change. Water bill, electric bill. However, we have our electric set up on average billing, so it's pretty much the same every month. There aren't any huge surprises there. And our water bill's pretty consistent. Like, we know which months are going to be higher. We know which months are going to be lower. So we know, okay, this is how much money is coming in. This is how much money is going out. This is how much money is left. So we took that money that is left and we split it up into accounts. Now, that doesn't mean we have 26 accounts open at the bank. We don't. We have a checking account. We have Jason's account. We have Misty's account. And then we have one savings account. Okay. The reason we have a Jason account and a Misty account is that the money we save up on a month-to-month basis, we split up where each of us gets X amount of dollars. Let's just say it's $200 a month that you can spend on whatever you want, or you can save it for whatever you want. That's just fun stuff, okay? If I want to buy something from my Stitch Fix box, if I want to buy a pair of Teeks, if my husband wants to buy some parts for his Impala, it's things we don't have to ask one another for permission to spend. It wouldn't matter, if we wanted something and we didn't have the money in our account, we would just discuss it. But if you have the money in your account, you're free to spend it however you want to, okay? So it's just fun money that is your fun money, and you can decide how you spend it. And that's because we both work hard, we both make good money, and we both want to have a little money that's just ours to do what we want to without always having to have that conversation. Now, that may not work for you. Your family, you may want to know what the other person is spending all of the time. But we already kind of know that anyways, because it's all going on the Southwest card to get points, and it gets paid off at the end of the month. So we're still having that conversation of hey, I spent $50 on Amazon. Can you move that out of my account back into the general account to pay when the Southwest card comes due? So we're still having that conversation. It's just, we don't necessarily have to ask for permission. Hope that makes sense. Not that we ask for permission much anyways, but that's just how it works. It works best for us. So then we have different accounts set up, like a medical fund that helps pay for prescriptions, doctor's appointments, braces for Axton that's coming up, all of those different things. Then we have a vacation fund that helps pay for cruises and hotels and things like that. We have a rainy day fund. We have just a general savings. We have, here's what our household spending budget is. Here's what our grocery budget is. So what we've done is we've just looked at gifts. There's a gift account. So we don't have to worry about when Christmas rolls around or birthdays come up or someone's anniversary that we want to buy a gift for. If they have a milestone anniversary or something, all of that's already budgeted in. So we just sat down together and we came up with all of the accounts. Hey, we want an entertainment budget for our family. We want a dining out budget for our family. It's important for you to identify what your family needs, wants, and then set up a budget for that. And so what we did is we took, here's how much money's left after bills. Here's all the things we want to divvy up money towards. And then we decided, we allocated money to each one. Okay. So we know exactly where the leftover money is going to go to every month. It funds those accounts. Okay. Then those charges that come in for groceries get billed to the grocery account. Household spending gets billed to the household account. Medical gets billed to the medical account. So we're saving in those accounts, but we're spending out of those accounts too. And it just helps us keep track of everything better. So the app we use is called Buddy. The reason we do that is we can have all of the savings accounts set up and we can see how far we are into savings. So we basically decided, car maintenance, we would like to get that account up to $2,000, because if you've got $2,000 in there, you're going to be good to replace a set of tires. You're going to be good to replace a car battery. You're going to be good to do lots of the things that you need to do. So that's the goal, is to save up to $2,000 in that account. Spending accounts work a little different. We say, here's the budget for the month, $341 for groceries. As we bill things to it, it lowers it down and it shows us how much we have left for the month. So we are able to visually see, because I'm a very visual person, here's how much you've saved in your savings accounts. Here's how low you're getting in your spending accounts. So I really like that, because of course, you're going to spend money. Like the medical account is a savings account. We are trying to save up to this amount. That way we have money in there. God forbid somebody breaks a leg, an arm, someone has to have surgery. We have money in the account. But it's also going to like back us back down if we have to spend out of it for prescriptions or braces or whatever, and then it's going to show as we start building it back up again. I really like that. I like that we can not only track our spending and where everything is going, but we can visually see, okay, here's how well you're doing on your savings, here's how well you're doing on your spending. I like that. However, I will say, and you've heard me talk about this in the videos, things have changed a little bit for us. My husband has placed an order, sorry guys, got a little spit coming out, for a 2024 Jeep. My husband traded in his car for me to get my car a few months back. I have always wanted a Bikini Pearl Jeep. They don't make those any longer. He found one that was a lease return vehicle, and so in order to make that happen, we needed to trade in his vehicle to make that happen. And he, like, I say it's the grand gestures, right? In marriage, you make the grand gesture. You do what you know is going to make your spouse so happy in the long run. And the car wasn't, I mean, he loved the car, but it wasn't as important to him as me having the Jeep was. So now we still have two vehicles because I had a Mazda that was on a lease and it goes back in October. So the new Jeeps will be coming out around that time. So that vehicle's going back. He is getting his Jeep. We will stay even on the number of car payments. The car payment will be a little higher, but we've already budgeted that into everything. That's the name of the game, guys. You have to make sure things fit into your budget and don't affect your savings in the long run. So that's what we work to do. So the Jeep order is in. We are currently saving for the down payment on the Jeep. We don't have to put anything down. It's just the more we put down, the lower those monthly payments are going to be. So we want to put down as much as possible just to make the payments lower month over month going forward. So the goal is $10,000 down on the Jeep. The stretch goal is $15,000 down on the Jeep. So we are working towards the stretch goal right now. So what that means is we are not funding any accounts. We are not funding medical. We are not funding car maintenance. We are not funding gifts. We are not funding anything for the next couple of months. And that's a decision we made together to have all of the money lump into the Jason account. And that's for the down payment on the Jeep. And so that's just what fits our family need best right now to keep us with two good, reliable vehicles. Now, I know a new vehicle is not a must. Trust me, I get it. It is not. And we actually, for the first probably 10 years of our marriage, did not have car payments. We had used vehicles. We did not have car payments. However, we decided with the amount of driving we do for work, the amount of driving we do for kids' things, we wanted new vehicles that had maintenance plans on them, that had warranties on them. That was a decision we made, and we had to decide if we could work car payments into our budget or not. So we are lucky that we can, and we can still do the other things that we want to do, but we had to make sure we were making it work for us. So that may not work for you, and if it doesn't, that's okay. We are all in different stages of life. We have been in a stage in our marriage where we had used vehicles and could not have a home. Like, that's where we were at. We are in a stage of our life now where we have a home. It's a great home, and we can afford car payments, but we were not always there. So when we weren't there, we couldn't do those things. We had used cars and we had an apartment because that's what we could do. So I say that just as a word of caution. Like, don't watch influencer videos and feel like you have to have what they have. You can't. Not everyone can. And so I can't have some of the things I watch YouTubers have. I watch YouTubers who go on these amazing trips all the time, and boy, do I wish I could do that. But I can't. Realistically, I can't. I can go on a good vacation once, maybe twice a year. I'm lucky enough to be able to do that. But the bigger trips, like the Australia trip we're taking next year, we have to budget that in, and we have to build towards that, because we can't do that all the time. There's too many other things that are more important to us. So that's kind of the budgety piece. So it's just take your income. If you're an hourly employee, take your average income. Don't build in the overtime and stuff like that into your budget, because it may or may not always be there for you. Hi, Axton. But take your income, take your bills, and then see what's left. And then you have to determine where what's left should go. And you have to keep in mind, like the first things you have to keep in mind on that are you're going to have groceries, you're going to have household, you're going to have gas for your vehicles, okay? So that was one thing that went up for us a little bit. A Jeep requires more gas than his little tiny Mazda did. He had a Mazda 3, very small, compact car, did not take a lot of gas, had way better gas mileage, but that's something we had to take into account in our budget. Then once you know those figures, then that's where you get to decide where all the other money is going to go. Do you have money to fund different accounts? Maybe not. Maybe you can only fund 2 accounts. Maybe you can only have a rainy day fund and a medical fund. Or maybe you can only have car maintenance and general. It's up to you. You have to decide what works in your budget. But again, we use the app called Buddy. That's just what we like best. It's a visual representation for us. So a couple other questions. What do I drive? I kind of just told you I have a 2020 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon Edition. It is like my dream car. It's funny, like I talk about, okay, I'm done. And my husband's like, no, you're not done. It's going to eventually have to be replaced. I'm like, no, it's like the dream car. We do have a Chevy Silverado pickup truck that is fully paid off. It is in great shape. That's our workhorse around here. My husband is restoring a 66 Impala. So that is not drivable at all. Like it's all in pieces right now, but he's working on it. And then I have a 2021 Mazda CX-9. It is a lease. It goes back in October. And it's definitely going back in October. It's not being kept because my husband is getting the 2024 Jeep. So that is where we are at with vehicles in our house. So where do we live? We live in Waxahachie, Texas. It is nice. We are kind of out more country, not so much inside city limits or anything. So we have a little bit of space. It's nice, manageable space for us. This is our first home. It will probably be our forever home. We love it. It was a new build. We just happened to find when we were looking for houses. Originally, we were looking like Burleson, Crowley, Cleburne area of Texas, but that is not at all where we ended up. And I think everything always works out the way it's supposed to. We ended up where my husband grew up. We love it. It's a great school system. It's a great band program. So our kids have the best band program that they could be in the area and things like that. So we really love it here. Just watching Axton on the hammock. So some other questions. How many kids do we have? My husband has a daughter from a previous marriage. She is 18. But she is definitely my bonus child. And then we have the 2 together. So Amber is 15 and Axton is 8. That is all the kids we're going to have. So I had my tubes tied after Axton and we are done. There will not be any more kids in this house. Even though Axton talks about wanting a brother sometimes. He's not going to be getting one. Sorry. No more kids. So what do I like to do in my free time, especially now that I don't have school going on? So now that I don't have school going on, I really haven't developed anything for my free time as of yet. I've been just keeping up with my YouTube recording and filming for you guys, and I really haven't built in anything to that time. I hope to get started back to the gym this next week. That's my ultimate goal, is to get back to going to the gym. I was really enjoying going to the gym, and then it just kind of fell by the wayside with school, so I'm hoping to get back into that. The other thing is I am going back to school. So starting in the fall, I'm going to be taking a business law class. That was my last prerequisite that I didn't have in order to enter the master's program. And then in the spring or in the fall, I will start hopefully start a master's degree at UNT. So that is to be determined at this point, and to be determined how many classes I can take at a time and keep up with everything. So that it is a goal, because like I said, even if you're only taking one class at a time, time's going to pass. So do you want, the time to pass and you not be working towards something, or do you want the time to pass and you are working towards something, and at the end you walk out with a master's degree, or at the end you walk out with nothing? And so to me, it's more important that even if I have to do it way slower than anyone else would, that I still walk out with it at the end. So that is the goal. I am lucky enough that I have tuition reimbursement with work. So I feel like I should be taking advantage of that. It's one of my benefits with my company, and I should be working towards getting that done. So that takes care of school. I do have my bachelor's degree. It is a bachelor's in applied arts and sciences and business from the University of North Texas. I got that in May, and my degree just arrived this weekend, so I'll get to hang that in my office next week. So I'm really excited about that. So a couple other quick questions I've had. What's my favorite kind of food? I actually really enjoy Asian food. My family does not. So I have certain friends that when we go out, we typically go to Hibachi, or we go to some Asian food places here in Waxahachie, or when I'm in Fort Worth by myself, I'll stop in Pei Wei and grab something there. But I do like Asian food, and I am the only one. And so my favorites here in Waxahachie are Hibachio and Osuba. I really like those places. So do I have a favorite sport? Absolutely. Football, nonstop. I cannot wait for football season to start back up. Kansas City Chiefs are my team, and my goal is to go to a game either at Arrowhead this year, or they play against the Raiders in Vegas, and my husband's been wanting to go back to Vegas, so maybe go see them in Vegas. Vegas has Max Crosby on their team. I despise him, but I love him because he is so good, and so that could be a fun game to go to. That could be a real fun one. Do I have like favorite movies, favorite bands, stuff like that? Of course I do. My favorite movie probably of all time is Dirty Dancing. I really, really love that one. Then my favorite bands, I don't know. I listen to a lot of music, and it's funny because I tell people I listen to everything, and they're like, no one listens to everything. And I tell them, no, seriously, like I can listen to anything from like Gregorian chant all the way to rap. Don't kick the table, please. And so I have a little bit of everything. I will say that when I run, when I'm exercising, I really like the more upbeat kind of rappy type stuff. Then it's not something I listen to in the car all the time or anything like that. It's more like pumping you up when you're running. And it's not gangster rap or anything, but it's definitely more rap music related. But do I have a favorite color? Yes, it's green. Second favorite color is yellow. I don't have a favorite number. My favorite time of the year is the fall because I live in Texas and it's brutally hot in the summer. So if you're not up early, forget it. So I enjoy the fall the best. Plus, I love the fall holidays. Like, I love Halloween. We get lots of trick-or-treaters, so that's super fun. I love Thanksgiving and having family around, and then I love Christmas because I love to give people gifts. So as we get into the fall season, it's like back to school for the kids, which is always fun. It is, cooler temperatures, which is great. It is Halloween, and then it just rolls straight into the holidays. Plus, September is my husband's birthday and Axton's birthday. August is our anniversary, so it's just a great time of year. I just love that time of year, so that's probably my favorite. Another question I had is travel plans and favorite places that we've traveled. So my favorite place that we've traveled is Spain. I love Spain. We've been to Spain a few times now, and we actually had talked about at one point doing retirement in Spain. We thought about having a 1-bedroom apartment that we owned in Spain and then a small place that we owned in Texas, because they do cruises, transatlantic cruises, once every 6 months in either direction. So we could live in Texas for 6 months, take the cruise to Spain, and then stay in Spain for 6 months, take the cruise back to Texas. That was kind of our retirement plan. However, the place in Texas wouldn't be the problem. The place in Spain would be the problem. Even like 1-bedroom apartments where we have looked at wanting to go, you're looking at like $1.5 million. That's probably not going to happen. So yeah, that's probably not going to happen, and that's okay. But we love to travel. Cruising is probably our favorite because we get to go to a lot of different places at a time. Why do we take our kids with us? We love our kids, and we love traveling with our kids. When we don't travel with our kids, we're primarily thinking about our kids and how much they would enjoy this or that. And so we've done a couple of cruises, just the two of us, or a couple of trips, just the two of us, but we do really like having our kids with us, especially if it's a big adventure where you're going places that you don't normally get to go. Like my husband and I went to Chicago together last year for work, and that was a great trip, and we really enjoyed it being just the two of us. However, when we went to Spain the first time, we were like, man, our daughter, even though she was little, would have really enjoyed a lot of these things. And so we just made the decision that we prefer to travel as a family, at least as long as we can. And so travel plans coming up, This year, when my husband's Jeep arrives, it will be shipped to Kentucky. So we'll have to pick it up in Paris, Kentucky and drive it back or pay someone to transport it here. We decided we're going to make a road trip out of it. We're going to fly to Kentucky. We're going to drive the Jeep back. We're going to take like a week to come back so that we can do a little road trip action, see a few places along the way. Depending on when it gets there, we may come back through Kansas City and hit a Chiefs game. So we'll see. Big travel plans though. We don't have any other big trips lined up this year. Next year we have the Australia, New Zealand cruise for the holiday season. So that will be the big trip for next year. And then we are getting a refund from Royal Caribbean because my son got hurt on the last cruise that we went on. That was really a freaky thing. I don't know, but he took off the top of a toe. But anyways, they gave us a refund back on what we paid on that cruise to use on a future cruise within a year. However, the December cruise next year is too far out to use that refund towards, so we will need to book another cruise to use that. So we're looking at a 5-night Western Caribbean maybe in January of next year. So that would space them out. Like we would have a cool cruise the beginning of the year and then the long cruise the end of the year. So that's kind of what we're thinking there. Just sailing out of Texas, out of Galveston. So we wouldn't need airfare or hotel or anything like that for that one. So it's a possibility. We'll see. I'm waiting for that credit to show up. It said it could take like 30 days. But I thought that was pretty cool of them to do that. I didn't ask them to do that. Like I said, it was a really freaky thing, him even getting hurt. It really wasn't like a Royal Caribbean fault. It wasn't an accident was at fault. It was just a freak deal. Like we've cruised for the last 13 years and we've never had any sort of incident. So it was just kind of weird the way it happened, but he's fine. He's totally fine now. And they took really good care of him on board as well. They didn't charge us anything. So, I mean, we were ecstatic the way they handled things. And then to have got the credit issued to us was just an awesome bonus. And I think that's really cool of Royal Caribbean to do that, take care of us. So anyways, that's kind of the travel plans for next year. The following year, I don't know that we'll do any cruising. And the reason for that is we have talked about going back to Disney with our kids. So that may be a year that we do Disney, and Disney's expensive. So Disney's not cheap. But we've also talked about maybe only doing like one day in the park, doing a cruise out of Florida, then doing a day at the park when we come back. We've also talked about doing a cruise out of California and doing Disneyland when we come back, because we've been to Disney World twice. We've never been to Disneyland. So we'll see. Plans are all up in the air. Who knows? Who knows? It's okay. But we do love to travel, and we love to travel with our kids, and we love to go places that they can have a great time as well as us. And so, we're very family oriented. So we like to have our family with us. So that's kind of all the questions I have that I can answer without my husband being here. A couple other quick things I can say. Do I have a favorite food that I cook? Yes, but my family doesn't care for it. So there are a few things I like to cook. And usually when I cook those things, they'll kind of be like, why are we having this? And I'm like, because I'm the cook and I want it. So you have to deal with it. But I don't do that to them very often. And they call those nights the nights that I push them out of their comfort zone. So yeah, sometimes I have to do that because I want a certain food. I don't have a necessarily favorite. It's just there are a few things I like that they don't like. So I like to work those in every once in a while. Does my daughter have a favorite food that I cook? Yes, she loves these smothered pork chops that I make in the slow cooker with rice. And that is a meal that my husband does not like. So I either have to cook two things. He'll eat it if he has to. Or normally what I will do is reserve those meals for when Daddy's out of town. That's typically how we do that. We'll have those thicker pork chops in the slow cooker with the gravy and rice when Daddy's out of town. Trying to think. I don't want to forget anything that y'all asked, and I didn't really write everything down. But I think I've got it all. I think that's it, except for questions for Jason. The only other thing I could think about is how's the budgeting going for groceries? It's gone pretty well. We've stayed within our $3.41 a month. As you can tell, sometimes on the weekly, I do go over $50, but I wrap it into the month. We keep within our monthly budget. So you're fixing to find out how I did for June in the last grocery haul video for June. I think we're pretty close to being right on budget. So it's been going well. And I've been surprised by that. But that's pretty much it, guys, for my portion of the video. Again, I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. I appreciate you wanting to know about us. I appreciate you becoming a community with me. We've got some exciting things coming up on the channel. We're going to have some Shop My Pantry videos coming up. We are going to start a new series that you will hear about in the next couple of videos. I'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about it. I have an email link in my description box for all of my videos, so you know how to email me. I want you to start sending me a grocery receipt. I'm going to use them on my channel to kind of show where I think you might be going wrong, what you could do better, what I would do differently. I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong, just what I would do differently to make it better. And I actually have a grocery receipt that someone left at the grocery store that I'm going to use as the first example for y'all. It's just going to be a quick series, probably just a 5-minute or less video once a week. I will go over someone's grocery receipt and just give you some tips and tricks there. What could you do differently that could possibly save you money? I'm not going to use names. I'm not going to use any sort of identifying information. Feel free to mark out your credit card number, the address of the store if you don't want people knowing what state it came from. Just shoot me your receipts. Let me see a receipt, like a normal receipt. Don't send me one where you like cut it to the bare bones or anything like that. Just send me your normal grocery receipt. So it'll be interesting to see how people shop, what you're buying, and what maybe could be done a little differently. So that's going to be a fun one. My mother is going to be moving back from Kentucky. I'm really excited about that because I want us to start bringing you some different content that's more tips and tricks for you, right? Like, how can you do what we're doing? And so I want us to come up with a video every week, and I'm going to start those before she gets back. She knows that, and then she's going to join me once she gets back. But more just me sitting down talking to you about, like, here's the top 3 things you should be doing at the grocery store to save money this month. Here are the items you should be stocking up on this month. Here's what you should be looking for in the sales. Top 10 things you're doing wrong. Top 5 things that are great to stockpile on. Just different videos every week that are like tips and tricks and pitfalls that you should avoid when it comes time for grocery shopping. So those types of things are coming, guys. I think that's going to be really helpful, and it's going to be a fun new direction for the channel to go into. And I think that the recording schedule may change a little bit because I'm finding it harder and harder to get the videos up by 4 o'clock on weekdays. It's just really busy with work, really busy with kids. So I will look into that and seeing when the schedule can be adjusted. But I will let you guys know those things way in advance. So that's all I've got for you. I will come back, record the stuff with Jason if he wants to be on video. If not, I will come back and I will record the answers for you. So stay tuned. You'll learn how we met, how's marriage going, how's family life going, what his favorites are, and how he feels about all of the craziness that is what I do for you guys here on YouTube. So I'll be back shortly. Bye. All right, everyone. So I'm back. Jason has decided not to be in the video, and that's okay. He's not a like on camera type of guy. He doesn't even like to be in pictures unless they're like family pictures. So the first question that we got asked for the two of us is, how did we meet? So we actually met on Match.com. We didn't live that far apart, maybe like 20 miles apart, but it's kind of a funny story. My mom had been on Match.com and was trying to date around, and there was a guy that kept writing her on Match, and she just wasn't interested. And I thought, this guy is really nice and she should just give him a shot, and she should go out with him one time and just see how it goes. And so we made a deal that if I made her go on a date with him, then she could log into my Match profile and she could pick someone for me. So I was like, okay, fine, deal. So I just had like the free membership on Match. I didn't sign up for anything, and it was almost expired. But anyway, she went out with the guy that I picked for her, and they were still dating and everything. And so it was the time for me to log in and cancel my Match. So I was trying to be sneaky about doing it so my mom wouldn't pick anyone for me to go out with. But she was like, no, you have to let me look and see who's in your, inbox or whatever it was at the time, a long time ago, right? And so she looked, and Jason had just wrote me that day. And she read through his profile, and she read what he wrote me, and she's like, I really think you should go out with this guy. And I was 100,000,000,000% against going out with him for multiple reasons. One is I really didn't want to date anyone with any baggage that they were bringing into a relationship, because I felt like I had enough of my own baggage going on. I didn't need anyone else's. And he was going through a divorce, and he had a child, and I just thought that is way more than I'm interested in signing up for. But I had made the deal, so I had to go out with him. And we got talking on the phone and scheduled a date, and then it looked like the date might not work out. And so I was trying my best to be like, okay, that's fine, no problem. Nope. He's like, no, we're still going to go out. So we ended up going out, and the rest was history. I mean, we talked to each other about how neither one of us wanted anything serious. We had both got out of commitments, and so we weren't looking to get into any future commitments. And anyways, we went on our first date in May, and we got engaged in December at Christmas time, and then we got married the following August. So we've been together ever since that first date. I mean, with the exception of a little bit here and there. I mean, we met in May, and I think we started living together in like July. So it was really, really quickly. We knew we were each other's people. And so we've been together ever since. Now, the guy that I sent my mom on a date with is my stepdad now. So they got married as well. So we got married one year. The next year they got married. So we will be married 16 years in August. My mom and stepdad will be married 15 years in August. So pretty cool situation there. So I asked my husband, how would he say marriage is going, right? So a lot of people say marriage is hard work, that they battle a lot with their spouse. It's not easy, but it's worth it. We've never really experienced that. We've had a couple of quarrels here and there, but nothing major over the course of our relationship that I can really think of to share. You know, sometimes it's that same thing that comes up over and over again, but you work through it, and you know, that's just part of life with anybody, any relationship. Even your friends you're going to have little tiffs with over certain things. But I asked him, how would you say marriage is going almost 16 years in? And he said he would say it is going great. And I would have to agree with him. It is going great. It's funny when we watch movies like with couples that aren't really talking, or they've shut down after a lot of years of marriage, and we look at each other and we're just like, man, I'm glad that we found each other, and we're happy, and we've got a really good marriage. So favorite meal that I cook, he said right now it would be the homemade pizzas. He really loves it when I make homemade pizza, but he said to let y'all know that is a really difficult choice, that he likes a lot of things that I make, so that would be a very hard choice for him. Least favorite meal was not a hard choice for him. He does not like roast. He does not like stroganoff. So I actually made some hamburger stroganoff recently. He did like that better, but he said it was too much like Hamburger Helper for him, and he's not a big fan of Hamburger Helper. But roast and stroganoff, he's not a big fan of that. And what's funny is while he was gone this time to Singapore, I made a roast with potatoes and everything, and the kids were not a fan of roast either. So they take after their dad on that one. Dream vacation spot for him would be Hawaii. And I forgot to answer that question, but that's his number one, is Hawaii. My number one would probably be Greece. I really, really want to go to Greece. Egypt would be a close second. I'm major into like the pyramids, and I like history. So Greek history is great. Roman history is great. There's so many places I want to see, but those would be my top two. So his favorite spot we went to so far would be Alaska, that we just got back from. He really enjoyed Alaska, and he's definitely looking forward to going back to Alaska in the future. So favorite date night, he said would just be going to Chili's and hanging out at the bar and having appetizers and a beer, and just, you know, talking about our day and just chilling out. And that's actually what we did this week. So it is something that we enjoy doing together. What does he call me? He calls me babe. You can see it on this shirt that I have made, babe. I have a couple of shirts that say babe, but that's just kind of what we call each other, babe. Hey babe, what's up? So the first impression of me that he had on our first date was that I was cute, smart, and bubbly. I'm not sure where the whole bubbly thing came in from. We are both very much introverts, so bubbly is not really my personality when I first meet someone, so I thought that was kind of funny. I would say my first impression of him is I just thought he was nice and down to earth, and kind of not what I was expecting. Like, I had dated a couple of people off Match.com and wasn't impressed by the type of people that I was meeting on there. So I liked that he was just like a normal guy. He wasn't out for anything. Just normal. His favorite thing about me is my kindness, which he actually tells me a lot that I'm too kind, and sometimes I'm too kind to people that don't deserve it. But that's one of his favorite things about me. I would say my favorite thing about him is that, like, no matter what's going on, he always fully supports me in everything, and it makes me feel good inside. It makes me feel worthwhile as a person. But no matter what's going on, I can look across a room and see him, and it just makes me smile. And I'm just happy. Like, I'm happy that he's my person, and I'm happy that I'm his person, and I love that. Least favorite thing is he says that I have a short fuse. And he's not wrong, but that's something I've really been working on for a long time in our relationship. So he used to say I had a fuse about this long, and now he says I have a fuse about this long. So I have worked on it. It's a redheaded Taurus thing, I think. But my least favorite thing about him, I guess, would be sometimes it's easier for him to just shut down and quit talking than it is to talk about things. So if there's really something on his mind, it can be hard to get him to open up about it. But that's something he's working on as well. So does he get enough to eat? That was a question everyone wants to know, like my whole family's opinion on. He was like, yes, absolutely, I get enough to eat. I don't know why people think just because I spend a low budget on groceries that I'm underfeeding my family, but I promise you, everyone gets a full plate of food. Everyone's welcome to get seconds. If they're still hungry, there's always fruit. My daughter the other day was still hungry and was eating tortillas, and I was like, why are you eating tortillas? And she was like, it's dessert. I'm like, okay, whatever. There were some tortillas left over, so whatever. But yeah, they all get plenty of food. No one's going hungry. And then the other question is he supportive of the YouTube channel? And that's absolutely, he's supportive of it. It was actually his idea for me to start a YouTube channel and try to help people in any way that I could. A lot of people wonder, does he see the value in what I do? So I asked him, I was like, do you see the value in what I'm doing? And he said he sees it overall on the big picture. Like, he doesn't always understand why I purchase this or why I purchase that. But then when you look at it as a whole and like what I'm doing and how stable we are and how we could go along, I don't want to say a long term without going to the store, but we have what we need and we're not dependent on going to the store compared to like when COVID hit and we couldn't get groceries. Like, we were out of town and we got home and there were no groceries. We went to the grocery store and shelves were bare and you had to get really creative really fast. I remember one of our date nights during that time is we went on a toilet paper search. Like, seriously, we went to like 9 stores to try to find toilet paper. So kind of just making sure we're not ever in that position again, but also just keeping the budget as low as I can for that so that we can spend that money somewhere else. So he's like, yes, I see it as a whole, but he doesn't always understand exactly what's going on. So kind of a funny story to tell you is like, I had made the decision that I was going to order big bags of flour, sugar, and rice, and I was going to order the containers with the lids to put them in, to have that stability there, because the prices had gotten so high on the individual bags that it was actually cheaper for me to buy the larger bags by a lot. And so I knew my husband was going to think I was crazy, so I was like, I'm going to order these and have them delivered by Walmart when I'm home so that I can answer the door and everything. Well, Walmart showed up early while I was taking the kids to karate, and I get a call from my husband. And he's like, I'm really confused by your Walmart order that just showed up. I'm like, just bring it in. I'll explain it to you when I get home. He said, no, what's going on? Because you've got like a 25-pound bag of flour and you've got these buckets, but there's no lids. Like, what's going on? And Walmart had made a disaster out of that order. Y'all saw that in one of my grocery haul videos. But I kept trying to tell him, like, just let me explain it to you when I get home. And he didn't want to listen to that. And so I finally just explained it to him over the phone. And he just kind of has to chuckle and shake his head because he doesn't know what to make of those things. Like, that's not anything that he ever grew up doing or thought that we would be doing. And so sometimes I think he might think I'm a little crazy, but then he sees the value in what I'm doing. So he's fully on board, fully supportive. And going back to my favorite thing about him, like, again, that's one of my favorite things about him is he's fully supportive of me, like doing the things I do here, going back to school, when I had my gastric weight loss surgery. Like, he has been my number one fan. He has been my number one supportive person through everything. So I lucked out. I really did. I lucked out. I got the best one. I know everybody, like, at least once or twice a year will post on Facebook about how great their husband is. I don't normally do that, but occasionally I do have to, like, call him out and say, you know, like, man, I lucked out. Like, I won the lottery. That's how I put it this last time. I was like, I won the lottery when I met this guy. Like, I don't know how fate intervened there, but it worked out so well. Like, we look at the life we've built together, and it's amazing. It's amazing where we started, and it's amazing where we've built our life to now. So, and the places we're headed are pretty amazing. So definitely have to trust the world and trust that things are going the way they're supposed to go, because that's how it's been for us. We've always ended up where we were supposed to be. So anyways, that is all I have for this Q&A video. I hope it answers all of the questions that were sent through email, all of the questions that were on posts, all of the questions that were in comment sections. I've enjoyed, like, talking to my family and answering your questions, even though most of them don't want to be on video, but they're fully supportive of me being here for you guys, and that's what's important. So that is it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. We're super excited about the changes we're making to the channel, and I hope you're excited to come along with us. Like I said it a couple of videos now, but we're going to keep doing grocery hauls. We're going to do Shop My Pantry. We're going to do low spend. We're going to do no spend. We're going to do looking at your receipts that you submit to me and seeing how I can help you save money. We're going to start having a video series on tips and tricks and pitfalls to avoid and what you should be stocking up on, and just different videos to help you guys out. And those will be shorter videos, but it'll just be, you know, straight to the point. Like, here's ways to make things better. So I look forward to that, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.